Your air gun looks like this. This is where you're going to put your product in. And for your treatment, you're going to take the cap off. You only need to fill it about to here. You can see where it starts to curve. That's all the product you need for a treatment. Now, when you first start doing this treatment, you're going to overuse product. So I suggest practicing with just water in here instead of your product so you don't waste product, okay? Once you've filled it up, the cap goes back on again. When you have the machine turned on, press down for just air and down and back for air with your product. So down for air alone and down and back for air with product, okay? You're going to sit it in your hand, just like this. At first, you're going to be holding it really tight and your hand is going to hurt until you just kind of start to feel comfortable with this. When I first got this treatment, when I was trying to learn about 2 hours into it, my hand was cramping. I said, take this thing away. I don't want to do this. But now I have to tell you, it's one of my favorite treatments to do. I've got this down really good now. So just comfortable with your hand. Now, this is your infusion tip. You're going to have that on when you're doing the infusion part of the treatment. The first part of the treatment, though, you're going to do exfoliation. And what I want you to do is you're just going to take this very little tip here on the end off, screw it off, make sure you put it somewhere where you don't lose it. There's a little tiny needle here. It's exposed. You don't want to break that needle. So be really present while you're doing this. Don't be multitasking. Really watch what you're doing. You're next going to put your adapter on. So be very careful, again, not to hit that needle. Screw your adapter on. Whoop. It's really quite easy. Okay, screw your adapter on. And then your exfoliating tip screws on the adapter. You've got 3 tips that come with your air gun, a fine, a medium, and coarse. So just screw on whichever one you want to use on that client. When you finish doing that part of the treatment, I want you to unscrew just the tip. Sometimes you need to hold your fingers on the adapter, unscrew the tip. This tip goes down in your water bowl until you're able to sanitize it later. I don't want you to just sit it on the counter. Those dead skin cells will dry up inside the diamonds there. So put it down into your water bowl. Then you're going to unscrew your adapter. Again, being very careful because you've exposed that tip. Grab your little tiny infusion tip and back on there again. Okay, so remember, you want to make sure you don't misplace this tip. We can get you more, but it is going to cost you. So make sure to put this in a safe place. That's all you need to know about the air gun at the moment. Let's get started with an actual treatment. I've formulated 2 products to be used for the oxygen infusion treatment. Now, you can use your own products if you like. We know we all like to play with different things, but I've put some together for you that I really like a lot. I've got my Oxy Pro Serum, which is your anti-aging and pigmentation product. It has DMAE, Matrixyl 3000, Sephora flavescens, which is a natural pigmentation ingredient. And at the very end when I was making this, I put a little bit of lactic in and we noticed that the skin brightened right up. So this is a super hydrator and great for pigmentation as well. This is the one you're going to use the most. I also formulated the Real Balance Serum, which is more for your oily, acneic, large pored skin clients, but this is also the one that you may use when you're doing the first part of the treatment with the exfoliating tip, because it's going to be really great for exfoliating. It's got a little bit of salicylic acid in it. Okay, so these are the two products that I like to use. If you're going to play with your own products, just make sure that they're thin enough, almost toner-like, to go through that little tiny needle at the end, at the tip of this. If your product is too thick, you're going to clog that needle, and then you're going to be calling me, asking me what to do about it. So a little bit heavier than a toner. When you use just a toner, it seems to fly around the client's face a little bit too much, but so something a little bit thicker than a toner. Okay, so those are the two products I like to use. Okay, let's dive into a treatment. The preparation for an Oxigen infusion treatment is going to be just like every facial you do. Cleanse the client's skin. I like to use an ultrasonic spatula to take the cleanser off. Then you've got a nice deep cleanse. Once you've rinsed the cleanser, I like to use the Dermadisc exfoliating tool to give them a really good exfoliation. You can do an enzyme if you'd like as well. I always like to take my enzymes off with the ultrasonic spatula and then rinse really well. You want a nice clean palette to start working on. So your first step is going to be the exfoliation. This is where I like to use the Real Balance serum. You're going to fill your cup about halfway full with the Real Balance serum. I have my client turn their head to the side. This is where you're going to start getting comfortable with the pressing down for air and down and back for air with product. On the exfoliating, I find that if you press down and about halfway back, so not too much product is coming out, that's when it works best. I like to hold the neck down. Air gun goes straight up and down. I like to actually place it first, then my thumb's going to go down and halfway back, and then nice slow movements. You want to go nice and slow with even just a little teeny bit of pressure, because once you've gone over the area once, you won't be able to go back over it again because you've got product on the skin then. So you want to make sure that each movement that you make is fluid and working the first time, so you don't feel like you have to go back over the area again. So you're just going to work your way, over the neck, underneath the jawline. And anytime you feel like you have too much product or you need more product, remember, just start playing with that thumb back and forth, okay? If you feel like you need to hold the skin taut in between, you can do that. I'm going to put her in her head a little bit more to the side. Same thing here, hold it tight and going up. Just work your way around the face. That's all, pretty simple, you guys. That's all there is to it. Okay, now moving on to the second step of the treatment, which is using the infusion tip. But before you start that, you may want to maybe do a hot towel wrap and lightly rinse, or use a cotton round with some toner and rinse the skin, because you've got some dead skin cells on there and you want to kind of clean those off before you start infusing. Okay, so the infusion part of the treatment, again, you're going to fill your cup up about halfway. This time, I like to use my OxyPro serum. Again, your air gun is always straight up and down. That's why you always want to make sure you have the cap on your cup here so that your product doesn't come out. Down and back, okay? So here's how I like to start it. I'm going to just saturate half of the face first. So I'm going to go down and all the way back, and I'm just going to do light little feather movements like this to saturate half of my client's face with products. Okay, don't do this. Don't do this. That's really annoying. Think of feathering. You just want to do light feathering. You're going to be about 2 inches away. Just all we're doing right now is getting product on the skin. And once you've got the whole half of her face, come back up here again. Now, to infuse it, you're not going to be 1 inch away or 2 inches away. You're not going to be actually touching the skin. You're going to be what I call hovering. And you'll slightly touch the skin because your hand shakes, but you're just hovering over the skin and you're making about 1 inch movements, little small movements. When you're in between the eyebrows, you're going to come up just like this, and you can actually hear a difference when you have it in that sweet spot. There'll be a hissing noise, and when you hear that hissing, you know you have that hover just right. So you're going to be coming up And once you've gotten that forehead and you're going to start down, now you're going to start down, like with lymphatic drainage. Little small, about inch movements. The slower you go with this treatment, the better. And about that sweet spot with hovering, there is a oxygen bubble that happens when you're right there when it starts to hiss, and that actually makes more pressure, so the product actually infuses better. So just start working down, little small movements, go all the way down the face this way. Let me show you a little trick about doing the eyelids, which a lot of treatments we can't do the eyelids. Let me turn her face to the side a little bit. Take a cotton round, because you don't want to put your fingers on this nice area that you've already infused. Pull up and get right down in here. First spray with a little bit of product, and then it's upward movements like this. You want to be very careful when you're doing this because you don't want to get product down in your client's eyes, but up and over the eyebrow. This is about the only piece of equipment we have that we can actually do on a client's eyelid, so it's great for those crepey eyelids. And then when you're getting real close to the eye, make sure you shoot this away, because wherever you're pointing the tip of your air gun is where the product's coming out at. So if I'm going to get really close to her eye, I'm going to be shooting it away, and then I'm going to right down in there, very close to the eye. And then start working down the face this way. When you get on the lip, the movement is this. I also like to do a little pump right on top of the lip for plumping the lips. Make sure you get down in that nasolabial fold really, really good. Just look at your client. Everybody's face is a little bit different. Get creative with this. You're going to do the neck, you're going to do the décolleté. I've even done the cuticles on one of my clients, and it was really cute because she said the next time she went and had her manicurist said to her, "What have you done? Your cuticles aren't as dry as they normally are." So as always, I'd say with all my equipment, get creative with how you're going to use this treatment. So once you've finished the infusion, I wouldn't put any mask product on where you're going to take back off again. You've got all that nice, yummy product in there. Go ahead and add some LED on top. If you want to do some microcurrent over the top of that, maybe my super enhancer electroporation machine. But I wouldn't do anything else with product. And then when you finish, a little bit of sunscreen and off they go. That's all there is to it. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to call or email me. I'm here for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again real soon in my treatment room.